Hello everybody, I am Scott. Welcome into my time machine kitchen and happy holidays. I know some of you might be celebrating lots of things today. Some are celebrating the fact that Santa Claus is coming tonight. Some of you might be celebrating the birth of a savior. In this house, we are celebrating the fact that A Christmas Story is about to come on television for 24 hours. A Christmas Story is my absolute favorite holiday movie. It has been for 40 years now. And to celebrate, I am going to make an fudge platter. 4 different kinds of fudges. Most are just 2 or 3 ingredients. Super easy. There is one very special fudge that I'm going to make, and I'll show you exactly what that is and how to make it. And it was a brand new find for me this year, and it's something that really hits those nostalgia notes for me. So we're going to do that. We're going to talk all about A Christmas Story, little tidbits that I've learned and read over the years. I hope you've got a mug like I do, a Triple Dog Dare mug. So grab that mug or any mug, pour yourself a big old cup of coffee, and let's make some fudge. Some fudge. Oh, I love that. By the way, you know you're getting old when you're on vacation and you don't take your robe off until like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The first fudge that I want to make is a vegan version of a fudge that I have not had in probably close to 30 years. It's my mom's fudge, which I did not realize is also the fantasy fudge recipe on the back of a jet puffed marshmallow cream can. I actually just picked this up at the Dollar Tree just so that I could show it as a prop. I've been vegan for many decades now, so I have not had my mom's fudge in probably that long. It's been 20 years, and I used to really like it, but because it had the marshmallow fluff in it, I never could eat it. So when I was at the store the other day and I saw the Dandies Marshmallow Cream, their vegan marshmallow cream, there it is right there, vegan, I went nuts. I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder if that would actually work to make the fudge. Like, it should be 1-to-1, right? But I'll just have to experiment and see. So I started looking on the bottle and everything, and there it is right there. It says, hey, you can actually make a fudge recipe here at it was a little link. And I was like, oh my gosh, they've already made the measurements and everything for me. I thought I was gonna have to experiment and figure it all out. So they actually put the recipe, which is very similar to Fantasy Fudge and my mom's fudge, on their website. And here it is right there on the Dandies website. The ingredients are super easy. You've got a 6.3 ounce jar of the Dandies Marshmallow Cream, 2 cups of sugar, 3/4 cup of sweetened canned coconut milk, 2 tablespoons of vegan butter, half a teaspoon of salt, 3/4 of a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, and 10 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate chips, obviously vegan. So easy, and you really just begin by making sure that you have your baking dish kind of prepared with some parchment paper. I'm actually having all these recipes, so I'm doing a 5 by 5 inch baking dish, and then in a saucepan you just heat up the marshmallow cream, the sugar, the coconut milk, the vegan butter, and salt, and you stir it until it's smooth. Increase that heat to about a medium so you can bring the mixture to a boil, and then you want to bring it up to about 238 degrees. And then you just remove it from the heat and stir in your vanilla and chocolate chips, and then you pour it into your baking dish. Easy, easy, easy. I know it's a few more ingredients than just the 2 or 3 ingredient recipes we're going to do later, but still super easy and so nostalgic. Tell me that does not look amazing. Now, one little note, I did not have coconut milk on hand. I had coconut cream, and I was really nervous about making that substitution, that maybe it wouldn't set up correctly, but it actually set up just fine, and it looks delicious. So I'm not going to taste test this now. I'm going to wait to taste test everything until the very end of the video so I can actually also rank the tastings. Next up is the butterscotch fudge. Whoa, is that a nostalgic flavor or what? And this one is just 2 ingredients. So you're gonna need 1.5 cups of butterscotch chips. And this is the only vegan brand of butterscotch chips that I could find, so I'll link that in the description box down below if you're interested. Non-vegans, butterscotch chips are everywhere, so just use those. I'm also using 7 ounces of coconut condensed milk. Again, non-vegans, condensed milk will work just fine, and that's everywhere. But I do think you should try this coconut condensed milk. In this recipe, it adds a subtle, subtle coconut flavor that is really good. Now, I did want to do this one in the microwave, but instead I decided to do it on the stovetop so that I could keep an eye on those butterscotch chips and make sure that they melted evenly and that they didn't burn, because when it burns it turns into like a really weird flavor and they lose actually all of their butterscotch flavor. So you just melt this slowly together until everything's nice and combined, nothing crazy here, and then you just pour it into your parchment lined baking dish. I topped this with a few more butterscotch chips just to really punch up that butterscotch flavor, and obviously I added some holiday sprinkles there too. So if you set this on the counter for about an hour, it should harden up pretty good enough for you to cut. If it doesn't, just pop it in the fridge for a little bit and it'll harden up just perfectly. This next fudge has the potential to be my absolute favorite. We are going to make peppermint or candy cane fudge. Does that not sound delicious and perfect for the holidays? And I'm gonna make it by using a recipe that I've been so intrigued by. It is everywhere on YouTube. It is everywhere on TikTok. It's these canned frosting fudges. I'm like, you can actually make fudge with canned frosting? Well, we will see. Now, I'm going to use vanilla frosting. And by the way, most of you may not realize this, but a lot of the canned frostings you find in the supermarket are vegan. There's no butter, there's no cream. They're actually just made with a lot of oils. So they are not healthy for you, but they're vegan. So I'm going to use a vanilla frosting for this candy cane fudge. I'm also going to use, so it's this radiant red vanilla frosting. I know. So I try to stay away from most food dyes. I think that they're unnecessary. We really don't know what they do to our bodies. So I try and stay away from them when I am doing my cooking. However, when I saw radiant red, I was kind of like, okay, that would be perfect for my candy cane fudge. The food dye that's used in this is actually a vegan-friendly food dye. So I think what I will do is I will just close my eyes and make this canned frosting fudge recipe that I have been so intrigued by. So here goes. Right off the bat, I am super grossed out. This color is wild, but even crazier than that is the smell. This is supposedly vanilla frosting, and it does not smell like vanilla. It smells like pure chemicals from a factory, but I am going to press on as best I can. So 6 ounces of white chocolate chips and 8 ounces of vanilla frosting go into a bowl, and then you're just gonna pop that into the microwave at 20 to 30 second intervals until it's all melted. Make sure you stir between each 20-30 second burst. And then once everything is all nice and melted, we're gonna do half a teaspoon of peppermint extract. Hopefully that peppermint flavor will help get rid of this smell. Whoa. And then we are going to top it with some crushed candy cane. Well, she is incredibly cute, I give it that, and it does smell very candy cane-y, peppermint. If this does taste good, I mean, a 2/3 ingredient frosting fudge is kind of an amazing thing. And like I said, I love candy canes, I love peppermint, so this really has the potential to beat the odds and be my favorite. Oh my gosh, you guys, so apart from the fact that my kitchen smells like chocolate fudge, butterscotch fudge, peppermint fudge, oh my gosh, you should just see the layout. It feels like Christmas Eve. It actually snowed just a teeny tiny little bit here in the DC area last night. I woke up and there was a nice little layer of snow and some ice on everything this morning. So, oh my gosh, and I'm so glad I'm completely done with shopping and everything, because when I was out last night, I heard like a lot of the stores are open till super late tonight. So I was like, oh gosh, I cannot imagine that rush, because I can tell you Target at 11:30 last night was like the wild, wild west. So anyways, so we're in the home stretch, 3 down, 1 more to go, 1 more fudge. The coffee is kicking in, so this last one is gonna go lickety split. But I did want to talk just a little bit about my favorite Christmas movie. I mean, there are so many great things about this movie, including the Oh Fudge scene, which I think is more appropriate to talk about here today. So I've heard Ralphie, grown-up actor Ralphie, talk about that scene for ages, because obviously he's not supposed to be saying "Oh Fudge." He's supposed to drop the F-bomb, right? And that's why they made him say "Oh Fudge." Well, in real life, when they were shooting that movie, he actually said the F word so that they could get the right shot and the right mouth movement and that kind of stuff. So I love, so and I think he was like 10 or 11. He was the same age as I was back in the movie was 83, so I was 10 in 83. I think he might have been 11. The actor might have been like 11. But so we were around the same age. I did not utter that word ever. I don't think I said that word until I was well into college, maybe even an adult. And I don't think of myself as a prude. I just thought my parents were like, you will never say that word. Kind of like Ralphie's parents. So I just think back to how wild that must have been for a 10-year-old boy to be empowered to drop the F-bomb, he said multiple times, because they had to shoot that scene over and over and over again. And then how even crazier it must have been for the adults on the set to be hearing an 11-year-old drop the F-bomb over and over and over again. That is wild times. If any of you have a 10 or 11-year-old in the house and think about hearing them drop the F-bomb, imagine how crazy that would be. It would be crazy in my house. Back to fudge making. This last one is probably the easiest one because it's equal parts, and we're gonna go with the canned frosting again. This kind without the crazy red food coloring. This is just another vanilla frosting, canned frosting. This one is by Pillsbury, all accidentally vegan. So the Dollar Tree made this really easy for me because they sell creamy peanut butter, and that's what I would use. I wouldn't use some kind of fancy peanut butter for this. 10 ounces of creamy peanut butter and 10 ounces of canned frosting, and that's all you need. And basically what I did is I took these, obviously I took off the tops and the foils and all that stuff. I popped them in the microwave for like 20, 30 seconds just to loosen each of them up. The peanut butter took a little bit longer. You don't want to heat these to the point where they're like cooking or anything. You just want to loosen them up. So that way I could just pour them into the bowl, do a little mixy mix, and it doesn't stay liquidy for long. It does seize up pretty quickly. Not seize up, it gets a little bit thicker pretty quickly. So you just have to stir, 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 but not a big deal. Literally like 20, 30 seconds, it all comes together. Pour it into your parchment lined pan. Again, I'm using a 5x5 size pan for this one. This actually is gonna make a thicker fudge, but I'm totally okay with that. And I couldn't resist topping this with some peanuts because I just thought that would make for a nice crunch in this fudge. And there she is, so beautiful in all her glory with all of her sisters. There is our vegan fantasy mom's fudge. There's our butterscotch fudge, and there is our candy cane fudge. And y'all, I'm ready to eat. I'm not gonna bore you with cutting each of these, and yes, I am measuring them because some of these are gonna go in a little cute tin that I bought, and I want them to I want them to all be the same size. But look at how incredibly clean this fantasy fudge is cutting. So let me just do this slice here. And I would say just a good tip is to make sure that it's lifted from the parchment paper before you start cutting. So let's see here. And then you can just kind of pull away the other slices. I mean, look at that. Wouldn't that be great to get just a slice of that? So far, this feels like it's the perfect consistency. So I'm so excited. Let me just say I have been waiting all morning to do this taste test. I am showered, I am ready to go, I am ready to taste some fudge, and I was not a big fudge person when I was a little kid. I gotta admit that. And I honestly haven't been a big fudge person as an adult. But smelling these fudges, most of them while they were cooking today, really kind of makes me excited to maybe get back into fudge. My kitchen smells really good, and it took about 90 minutes to make all of these fudges. So 4 fudges, 90 minutes, wow, that's amazing. Now they did have to sit for a little bit. I meant like the actual cooking part, but they each had to sit for about an hour before we can eat them. So anyways, I'm gonna taste them in reverse of how I made them. So I'm going to start with our peanut butter fudge, all ingredients from the Dollar Tree. Oh, and this one smells really good. It smells kind of like, and I'm not gonna eat the nice ones. I'm gonna eat the little bits that I chopped up. So it smells like kind of like a Reese cup to me. Oh my gosh. Whoa. That is really soft. If you need it, but it holds together. If you need it to be harder, you can put it back in the fridge. But gosh, what does this remind me of? It reminds me of like peanut butter balls. That's what it is. It's the center of a peanut butter ball. That
is an unexpected, complete win. So after I taste all of these, I will rank them to see which ones I will leave out for Santa. No, I'm kidding. I'll rank them. Gosh, what should I rank them? I don't know. I'll have to think of something creative. Something related to a Christmas. Oh, 1 to 5 leg lamps. Like, I'll rank them like 1 to 5 leg lamps. This peanut butter fudge is a solid 4 leg lamps out of 5 leg lamps. Delicious. Next up is our candy cane fudge, the one I was kind of most excited about, but y'all, that smell, that chemically smell, it does not smell like vanilla. So I can smell a little bit of the peppermint extract that I put in there. I can smell the candy canes on top, but there is another smell in there that I am just not digging at all. So I am going to taste just a little tiny piece of this. So the chemically taste is there in the background, but it's not so overpowering that I'm like, this is disgusting, nobody's gonna like it. The smell, it's the smell that's really getting me, to be honest with you. But when you do bite into it, really nice consistency. I do like this consistency for a fudge. Great consistency. The flavor is pretty good, like that peppermint really comes through. And I put those kind of candy canes on top that are kind of like, not chewy, but they break down really. They're not like the hard candy ones. They're the softer ones that I like. So they kind of melt into the fudge, and it's really, that's pretty good. So 1 to 5 leg lamps. Only giving this one a 2 leg lamp because of that smell. Otherwise, the taste is pretty good. You know how kids, like, they don't care about that chemically smell or taste in some of the candies? Kids, I think, might like this fudge. Before I taste the butterscotch fudge, which I'm very excited about, you know, I call this my time machine kitchen. And if you really want to take a trip back in the time machine, so I did a recipe probably about 10 years ago now for Fudge, for A Christmas Story. Back then, I think we were celebrating like the 30th anniversary or close to it. Now we're over 40 years. Crazy to even think of. But first of all, that's a very delicious recipe as well. So you should check that out. The other thing, as I was watching that video back, I was like, oh my gosh, I have aged quite a bit. The difference between 40 and 50 is quite significant in my life. I was looking back at that video, I was like, wow, I had cheekbones, I had muscles. What the hell happened to me? So anyways, just if you want to kind of see how people age, there's a good video to look to. So I did not make that recipe. And again, that is a delicious, super easy vegan recipe as well. Didn't make that today because, oh my God, where would I put it on the platter? These are also 4 amazing recipes for vegan people. For anybody, to be honest with you. Okay, it is time now to taste the delicious butterscotch fudge. So I don't think you see a lot of butterscotch recipes anymore, do you? Like, feels like that's kind of like a time gone by kind of flavor, but maybe that's just me. I remember butterscotch pudding when I was a kid in the can. So old. That's so good. The butterscotch flavor is there. For some reason, I was worried that it wouldn't come through, but it really does. And I like that butterscotch chip on top. This by far, believe it or not, is the sweetest of all of them. Also, this is the one that I made with the condensed coconut milk, I think, yeah. And I don't taste that very much at all. There's like a slight aftertaste of coconut, but it really works with the butterscotch. I just love that. I actually thought the frosting recipes would be the sweetest, the canned frosting ones, the peanut butter and the peppermint, the candy cane fudges. But no, this one is by far the sweetest, our beautiful butterscotch fudge. And I feel like this is a fudge that you could make and people would be like, oh my gosh, butterscotch fudge, that sounds amazing. Especially Gen Xers who might remember the butterscotch pudding from back in the day. Oh, so how many leg lamps would I give this? I'm gonna give it a 3 only because it's super, super sweet. But don't get me wrong, 3 leg lamps is good. It is like delicious. I am over the moon with this. This is the one I remember most as a kid, the one I am most excited about. The recipe is fantasy fudge from back in the day, the veganized fantasy fudge. I didn't know it was called that. I just thought it was my mom's recipe, and it's actually my granny's recipe too. I just remembered that the other day. This is the fudge she would always have in her candy dish, and my mom, this was my mom's mother-in-law. I think she really loved that recipe from my granny, and she used it for her fudge as well. So I remember this all over the place. They did put nuts in them. I did not put nuts in my fudge. Now that I'm older, I can totally see walnuts, toasted walnuts being delicious in this. But anyways, I'm so excited to try this because this is the veganized version of that fantasy fudge, my mom's fudge, my granny's fudge that I have not had in my mouth for maybe 30 years, to be honest with you, because of the whole vegan thing. So I'm excited. I did want to mention also the little sprinkles are from Trader Joe's. Thank you, Trader Joe's, for making vegan sprinkles. We love you for that. Okay. Out of all the fudges, this is the fudge You guys, this is the perfect fudge. This is the perfect fudge. So I used oat milk chips, and a little bit of that oat milk is coming through for sure, but I like that. Clearly, 5, 5, 5 leg lamps. 5, 5, 5 leg lamps. Oh my God, this is so good. I mean, this will take you back. I cannot wait to take this to my mom's tomorrow for Christmas and have her taste test it against her fudge. Oh my gosh, I'm going to take a whole bunch so the whole family can taste test it, because this is a 5 leg lamp fudge. I mean, really, truly, when I bit that, I should have just said, oh, fudge. It's that good. So let me rank them for you. Clearly, wait. My beautiful platter. So, in order, they're all good. These all should go in your oh fudge platter like mine. Number 1, the fantasy fudge, the vegan fantasy fudge. Delicious. Number 2, this peanut butter fudge is out of this freaking world. Number 3 is the butterscotch fudge, nostalgia vibes like you would not believe. And then number 4, the candy cane fudge. Even though I ragged on it and said, oh my gosh, the smell, the flavor is pretty good and it is pretty on the platter. It has always been a holiday tradition in my house for 40 years to watch A Christmas Story at some point during the holidays. But in the last few years, maybe, gosh, more than a decade now that some of the TV stations are playing this movie on a loop for 24 hours, that's kind of like the new tradition in our house. Like, we just put that on throughout the whole night, overnight, because I'm sure when Santa Claus comes in, he watches a few minutes of it, and then all into the next morning and throughout Christmas Day. And I love it. For one reason, you always catch little scenes, you laugh and be like, I remember that. But there's also something about just having something on television that you know other households, friends, family, people you don't know are also watching. It's kind of like you're watching A Christmas Story with the world at Christmas time, which I kind of love. Thank you guys so much for spending a few minutes of your Christmas with me. You have plenty of time to make at least one of these fudges while you watch A Christmas Story tonight. Stay right here on my channel. If you do have some time on your hands today and you're just kind of thumbing through videos, I have so many retro reviews and recipes that will keep you busy for as long as you need to be busy. Thanks again, happy holidays, and you are always welcome in Crunchy Scott's Time Machine.